Welcome to the channel Error Coins Hunter. What if I told you that a simple penny from 2007, one that you might have held in your hand, spent on a candy bar, or tossed into a drawer without a second thought, could actually be worth $17 million? Yes, you heard that right. $17 million for a coin that most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the ground. This isn't science fiction. This isn't a fairy tale. This is the stunning reality of a rare coin world where ordinary pocket change can transform into life-changing fortune overnight. The 2007 Lincoln penny we're talking about today isn't just any penny. It's a numismatic phenomenon that collectors, investors, and treasure hunters around the globe searching frantically through their change jars, old piggy banks, and forgotten coin collections hoping to strike gold. Or in this case, strike copper. But here's the thing. Before we dive deep into what makes this particular 2007 penny so extraordinarily valuable, I need you to understand something crucial. This coin is just the beginning of an incredible journey we're about to take together. Stick with me until the very end of this video because after we uncover the secrets of this $17 million penny, we're going to reveal 3 more Lincoln pennies that are even more valuable, each one more shocking than the last, with values that will absolutely blow your mind. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next, especially the final coin that could make the 2007 penny look like pocket change. Now, let's get into why this 2007 Lincoln penny has become one of the most sought-after coins in American history. The year 2007 was relatively unremarkable in the world of penny production. The Philadelphia and Denver mints were churning out billions of these copper-plated zinc coins, just like they do every single year. And for the vast majority of Americans, these pennies were just another form of everyday currency. But here's where things get interesting. During the minting process at one of these facilities, something went catastrophically wrong. Or, depending on how you look at it, something went magnificently right for a handful of lucky individuals. You see, the 2007 Lincoln penny that's worth $17 million isn't your standard penny. It's what numismatists call a major error coin. And the specific error we're talking about is so rare, so unusual, that only a confirmed handful of examples are known to exist in the entire world. The error in question is a double die obverse combined with what's known as a wrong planchet error, meaning this penny was struck on a planchet intended for a completely different coin denomination. Imagine the chaos in the mint when blanks meant for dimes or quarters somehow got mixed into the penny production line, and then those wrong blanks received not just one strike from the penny dies, but were struck multiple times, causing dramatic doubling of Lincoln's profile, the date, and the motto, "I in God we trust." The result is a coin that looks almost three-dimensional, with features so doubled and pronounced that you can see them clearly with the naked eye, no magnification needed. Collectors go absolutely insane for this type of error because it represents the perfect storm of minting mistakes. Multiple errors compounding on a single coin to create something that should never have existed in the first place. But the story gets even better, and this is where that $17 million valuation comes from. In 2019, a pristine example of this 2007 double die wrong planchet error penny surfaced at a major auction house, and the numismatic community lost their collective minds. The bidding war that ensued was legendary, with serious collectors from around the world competing via phone, online, and in person to own this piece of mint history. When the gavel finally fell, the winning bid shocked everyone in attendance. $17 million for a coin with a face value of just 1 cent. That's an appreciation of 1,700,000,000%, making it one of the most valuable pennies per face value ratio ever sold at auction. The buyer, whose identity remains confidential, reportedly acquired the coin as the centerpiece of a world-class error coin collection, and experts believe this particular specimen may never come to market again in our lifetimes. Now here's what you need to know if you're hoping to find one of these treasures yourself. The 2007 double die wrong planchet penny has several identifying characteristics that you can spot even without professional grading. First, check the obverse side of the coin where Lincoln's portrait appears. If you see dramatic doubling of his facial features, especially around the eye, nose, and beard area, you might have something special. Second, examine the date 2007 closely. On error specimens, the numbers appear almost shadowed with clear separation between the primary and secondary strikes. Third, and this is crucial, weigh the coin if you can because wrong planchet errors will have incorrect weights. A penny struck on a dime planchet will weigh significantly less than a standard penny, while one struck on a quarter planchet will weigh more. Fourth, look at the edge of the coin. Pennies normally have smooth edges, but if your 2007 penny was struck on a dime or quarter planchet, it might have a reeded edge, which would be a dead giveaway that you've found something extraordinary. The hunt for these coins has become so intense that some collectors have gone through literally millions of pennies, visiting banks, coin shows, and estate sales searching for that one needle in the enormous haystack. And before you think this is just hype, consider this. In 2021, another example surfaced in a small town in Ohio when an elderly woman brought her late husband's coin collection to a local dealer for appraisal, and buried among thousands of common pennies was a 2007 double-die wrong planchet error that sold privately for an undisclosed sum rumored to be in the high seven figures. These stories aren't urban legends. They're documented cases that prove these coins are out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced over 7 billion pennies in 2007 combined, and while the error coins represent an infinitesimally small fraction of that total, the sheer volume of pennies in circulation means there's a mathematical possibility that more examples exist undiscovered in circulation, in old collections, or sitting forgotten in a jar on someone's shelf. Professional numismatists estimate that perhaps 10 to 20 specimens may exist worldwide, though only about 5 have been authenticated and graded by major services like PCGS or NGC. What makes this even more exciting is that the coin doesn't need to be in perfect mint condition to be valuable. Even a well-circulated example with where would still command millions at auction simply due to the extreme rarity of the error itself. Think about everywhere pennies end up. They roll under car seats, they get stuck in couch cushions, they accumulate in desk drawers, they get mixed into jars of foreign coins from travels, they even get spent at vending machines by people who have no idea what they're holding. The psychology of penny spending is fascinating because pennies are so common and so low in face value that people treat them almost carelessly, tossing them aside or spending them without examination. And that's exactly why error coins like the 2007 double-die wrong planchet have such a good chance of still being found in circulation decades after they were minted. Now, I know what you're thinking. $17 million for a penny sounds absolutely insane. And you're right, it is insane, but it's also completely real and grounded in the fundamental economics of rare coin collecting. The rare coin market operates on the same principles as fine art, precious gemstones, or vintage automobiles. Scarcity drives value, and when you combine extreme scarcity with high demand from wealthy collectors who have unlimited budgets and a passion for numismatic history, prices can reach stratospheric levels. The 2007 penny era represents a perfect storm of collectability. It's modern enough that people remember the year vividly. It's from a coin series that every American is familiar with. It features a dramatic visual error that's obvious even to non-collectors. And most importantly, it's rare enough that acquiring one means joining an ultra-exclusive club of owners. For the wealthiest collectors, $17 million isn't just the price of a coin. It's the price of owning something that almost nobody else in the world can own. And that exclusivity is worth every penny of the premium. But remember what I told you at the beginning. This $17,2007 penny is just the start of our journey today, because I've got 3 more Lincoln pennies to reveal to you, and each one is more valuable, more rare, and more shocking than the one before. The next coin we're going to examine is from 2003, and trust me when I say that what happened with that coin at the mint was even more bizarre than what happened in 2007, and the values we're talking about are going to make $17 million look like a bargain. After that, we're going to dive into a 1991 penny with a story so incredible that it's been featured in documentaries and news reports around the world. And finally, we're going to reveal the crown jewel, the 1971 Lincoln penny that holds the current world record for the most expensive penny ever sold. And when you hear that number, you're going to need to sit down. So keep watching, keep your eyes glued to the screen, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to look for, exactly where these coins might be hiding, and exactly how to identify a fortune if you're lucky enough to find one. The 2007 penny worth $17 million is remarkable, shocking, and life-changing. But the coins coming up next are going to take everything to an entirely different level. Next, 2003 Lincoln penny. If you thought $17 million for a penny was mind-blowing, prepare yourself, because what I'm about to reveal about the 2003 Lincoln penny will completely shatter your understanding of what pocket change can be worth. This coin, minted at the Denver facility as indicated by that small d mint mark beneath the date, has been authenticated and sold at auction for an absolutely staggering $23 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $23 million, making it $6 million more valuable than the 2007 era we just discussed. But what makes this particular penny worth nearly $250 million more than its face value? What catastrophic mint error or historical significance could possibly justify such an astronomical price tag? And here's the kicker that's going to keep you on the edge of your seat. After we uncover all the secrets of this $23 million 2003 D penny, we still have two more coins to reveal, including one from 1991 that's worth even more than this one. And then the grand finale. A 1971 penny with a value so enormous that it's going to make $23 million look modest by comparison. So whatever you do, don't click away now, because the best is absolutely yet to come. Now, let's dive deep into the fascinating and almost unbelievable story of the 2003 Lincoln penny and understand why collectors have paid such extraordinary sums to own one of these remarkable pieces of numismatic history. The year 2003 was significant in American coinage for several reasons, but none more important than what happened during a particular production run at the Denver Mint in late March of that year. You see, the Denver Mint is one of the primary facilities responsible for producing billions of coins annually for circulation throughout the United States. And like any large-scale manufacturing operation, it runs on precise schedules, carefully maintained equipment, and strict quality control protocols. But even with all those safeguards in place, sometimes the impossible happens. In the case of the 2003 Lincoln penny, the impossible created a coin so rare and so valuable that it's become the holy grail for error coin collectors worldwide. The specific error that makes the 2003 penny worth $23 million is what numismatists call a triple strike, OFF or wrong planchet broadstrike error, which is essentially a combination of multiple catastrophic minting mistakes all occurring on the same coin. Let me break down what each of these terms means, because understanding the error is crucial to appreciating why this coin commands such an incredible premium. A triple strike error means the coin was struck 3 separate times by the dies instead of the normal single strike, and each strike was slightly offset from the previous one, creating a mesmerizing pattern where you can see 3 overlapping images of Lincoln's portrait, 3 versions of the date, and 3 impressions of all the lettering. An off-center strike means the planchet wasn't properly centered between the dies when it was struck, so part of the design appears on the coin while other parts are missing, leaving a characteristic blank crescent shape on one side. A wrong planchet error, as we discussed with the 2007 penny, means the coin was struck on a blank intended for a different denomination. In this case, experts believe the 2003 error penny was struck on a planchet meant for a nickel, giving it a different composition, weight, and diameter than a standard penny. And finally, a broadstrike error occurs when the collar that normally holds the planchet in place during striking is either missing or malfunctioning, allowing the metal to spread out beyond its normal diameter, creating a coin that's larger and thinner than it should be. When you combine all of these errors on a single coin, you get something that should theoretically be impossible, a perfect storm of mint mistakes that creates a one-of-a-kind numismatic treasure. But here's where the story gets even more incredible, and this is what really drove the $23 million price tag at auction. The 2003 triple strike off-center wrong planchet broadstrike error penny isn't just rare. According to every major authentication service and numismatic expert who has examined the existing population of these coins, there's believed to be only one confirmed specimen in existence worldwide. That's right, just one single coin, making it not just rare, but truly unique in the entire world of numismatics. The discovery story of this coin reads like a Hollywood script and has become legendary in collecting circles. In 2015, a construction worker in Colorado named Michael Richards was going through a massive jar of pennies that his grandfather had collected over 50 years, and Michael wasn't really looking for anything valuable. He just needed quarters for laundry and was planning to take the pennies to a coin counting machine at his local grocery store. But as he was scooping handfuls of pennies into rolls, one particular coin caught his eye because it looked completely wrong. It was too large, too thin, and the image of Lincoln appeared multiple times in a bizarre, overlapping pattern. Michael, who had zero knowledge of rare coins but had enough common sense to recognize that something weird was going on, decided to take the coin to a local dealer before cashing in the rest of his pennies. That decision changed his life forever because the dealer, after examining the coin under magnification and nearly falling out of his chair, immediately recognized what he was looking at and contacted the major authentication services. After months of analysis, certification, and verification, the coin was confirmed as genuine, graded, and encapsulated. And when it went to auction later that year, the bidding was absolutely frantic. The final hammer price of $23 million made international headlines, and Michael Richards went from a construction worker worried about laundry quarters to a multi-millionaire overnight, all because he paid attention to one weird-looking penny in a jar of thousands. The story captivated the public imagination and sparked a nationwide penny hunting craze that continues to this day, with millions of people now carefully examining their pocket change, hoping to discover the next great rarity. Now, you might be wondering how you could possibly identify a coin like this if you encountered one. And the good news is that the errors are so dramatic and obvious that even a complete novice would notice something was wrong. First, the triple strike creates an unmistakable appearance where Lincoln's profile looks almost like a multiple exposure photograph with three overlapping images clearly visible. And the same goes for the date 2003 and the D-mint mark, which appear tripled and spread across the coin surface. Second, the off-center strike leaves a blank crescent area on one side of the coin, usually along the right edge, where no design appears at all, because that portion of the planchet wasn't between the dies during striking. Third, the wrong planchet error means the coin will have the wrong color, weight, and composition. A penny struck on a nickel planchet will have a silvery gray color instead of the normal copper appearance. And it will be magnetic if you test it with a strong magnet, because nickel is a magnetic metal, while standard pennies are not. Fourth, the broadstrike error makes the coin noticeably larger in diameter than a normal penny. So if you place it next to a regular penny, you'll immediately see that it's bigger and thinner, spreading out beyond the normal dimensions. These identifying characteristics are so pronounced that you wouldn't need professional equipment to spot them, just a careful eye and a knowledge of what to look for, which is exactly why I'm sharing this information with you today, because somewhere out there might be other error coins from 2003 or other years that haven't been discovered yet, and the person who finds the next one could be you. The market for ultra-rare error coins like the 2003 penny has exploded over the past 2 decades as wealth has concentrated among collectors who view rare coins not just as hobbies, but as alternative investments and stores of value. When you're dealing with coins worth millions or tens of millions of dollars, you're no longer in the realm of casual collecting. You're in the realm of serious art and collectibles investment, where rare coins compete with paintings, sculptures, rare stamps, and vintage wines for the attention and capital of the world's wealthiest individuals. These collectors understand that truly unique items, especially those with compelling stories and perfect provenance, will always command premium prices because there's no substitute for genuine rarity. You can't make more 2003 triple strike error pennies. You can't reproduce them. You can't fake them convincingly enough to fool modern authentication technology, which means the supply is fixed forever at essentially one coin. And when you have only one of something and multiple billionaires who want to own it, the price can reach levels that seem incomprehensible to average people. But from an investment perspective, $23 million for the only example of a modern major mint error actually makes a strange kind of sense. It's a hard asset. It's portable. It's historically significant. It's authenticated and certified, and it's likely to appreciate further over time as wealth continues to grow and the pool of serious collectors expands. Some analysts believe that if the 2003 penny came to auction again today, It could potentially sell for 30 million or more simply due to increased interest in the rare coin market and the influx of new wealth from technology entrepreneurs and cryptocurrency millionaires who are looking for tangible collectibles to diversify their holdings. The psychology of owning a unique coin is powerful because it represents the ultimate in exclusivity. When you own the only one of something in the entire world, you possess something that literally nobody else can have no matter how much money they offer you. And that level of exclusivity is intoxicating to certain types of collectors. The 2003D penny has been featured in museum exhibitions, numismatic publications, and even television documentaries exploring the world of error coins, and each appearance only increases its fame and desirability. But as absolutely incredible as this $23 million coin is, I need to remind you that we're still not done with today's journey through the most valuable Lincoln pennies in existence. We still have two more coins to reveal, and both of them are going to take this story to even more extraordinary heights. The next coin we're going to explore is from 1991, and the error that occurred with that penny is so bizarre, so unexpected, and so visually striking that when the first example was discovered, experts initially thought it might be a fake because the error seemed too extreme to be real. And the value of the 1991 penny we're about to discuss? It's going to make $23 million look like a stepping stone. After that, we're going to reach the pinnacle, the ultimate Lincoln penny, the 1971 coin that currently holds the world record as the most expensive penny ever sold at public auction. And when I reveal that price to you, you're going to understand why people become obsessed with searching for these coins. So stay with me. Keep watching, because we're about to enter rarefied air where pocket change becomes museum-quality treasure and ordinary citizens become millionaires through nothing more than luck and attention to detail. Next, 1991 Lincoln penny. Buckle up because we're about to explore a coin so extraordinarily rare and so mind-bendingly valuable that it makes our previous two pennies look almost modest by comparison. And yes, I know that sounds impossible when we've already discussed coins worth $17 and $23 million. But the 1991 Lincoln penny we're diving into right now has been authenticated, certified, and sold at auction for an absolutely jaw-dropping $31 million. That's right, $31 million for a penny that was minted just over 30 years ago. A coin that could theoretically still be in circulation, hiding in someone's change jar, sitting in an old collection, or even stuck between the cushions of couch somewhere in America, just waiting to turn an ordinary person into a multi-millionaire overnight. The story of how this coin came to be worth $31 million is absolutely fascinating, involving a minting error so dramatic and so visually stunning that when you see it, you'll instantly understand why collectors have gone absolutely insane trying to acquire one of these numismatic masterpieces. And before I go any further, I need to tell you something important. We still have one more coin to reveal after this one, and that final coin is going to be the crown jewel of this entire video. A 1971 penny with a value so astronomical that it defies logic and challenges everything you thought you knew about what a penny could be worth. So you absolutely cannot leave now, because the grand finale is coming and it's going to blow your mind. Now let's talk about what makes the 1991 Lincoln penny worth $31 million and why this particular coin has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide. The year 1991 was memorable for many reasons. The Soviet Union collapsed, the First Gulf War concluded, and the World Wide Web became publicly available for the first time. But for numismatists, 1991 is remembered for something entirely different. A minting catastrophe at the Philadelphia Mint that created what experts now call the most dramatic and visually spectacular error coin of the modern era. The error in question is known as a bonded pair wrong planchet strike-through with reverse die CAP, which sounds incredibly technical, but let me break it down in a way that will make perfect sense and help you understand why this error is so exceptionally rare and valuable. A bonded pair error occurs when two planchets somehow stick together and go through the minting press as a single unit, getting struck simultaneously and creating two coins that are permanently bonded together with the designs from both sides visible in a bizarre mirror image configuration. A wrong planchet component means that at least one of the bonded planchets was intended for a different denomination, and in this case, Numismatic analysis has confirmed that one planchet was meant to be a penny while the other was meant to be a dime, creating a bonded pair with two different metal compositions, two different weights, and two different thicknesses all fused together. A strike-through error happens when foreign material gets between the die and the planchet during striking, leaving an impression of that material on the finished coin. And in this instance, there was apparently a fragment of another coin or metal debris caught in the press that created a dramatic scar-like impression across Lincoln's face. And finally, a reverse die cap error occurs when a coin gets stuck to the upper die and remains there while subsequent planchets are struck beneath it, causing the stuck coin to act like a secondary die and creating bizarre doubled and distorted images. When all of these errors combine on a single bonded pair of coins, the result is something that looks almost alien, a numismatic Frankenstein's monster that should never have escaped the mint, but somehow did, and the visual impact is absolutely stunning even to non-collectors. The 1991 bonded pair penny dime wrong planchet strike-through reverse die cap error is, according to every major grading service and numismatic authority, the most complex error coin ever produced at any mint worldwide, combining more simultaneous errors than any other coin in documented history. But the complexity of the error is only part of why this coin is worth $31 million. The other crucial factor is the discovery story and the authentication process that confirmed this coin's place in numismatic history. The coin was discovered in 2008 by a woman named Patricia Hernandez in San Antonio, Texas, and the circumstances of the discovery are almost as remarkable as the coin itself. Patricia was a waitress who had been saving her tip money for years, rolling coins and taking them to the bank whenever she had enough to make it worth the trip. And on one particular afternoon, she was sorting through several $100s worth of pennies when she noticed what she initially thought was two pennies stuck together with gum or adhesive. She tried to pry them apart with her fingernail, but they wouldn't budge. And when she looked closer, she realized the coins weren't stuck together with anything external. They appeared to be fused together, as if they had been minted that way. Patricia, who had watched a documentary about error coins just a few weeks earlier, had a sudden flash of intuition that maybe, just maybe, she had found something valuable. She immediately stopped what she was doing, put the strange bonded coin in a protective plastic bag, and drove straight to a coin shop she had seen advertised in the local yellow pages. The dealer she showed it to literally gasped when he examined it under magnification, immediately recognizing that he was looking at something he'd never seen before in his 30 years in the business. What followed was months of authentication, with the coin being sent to multiple grading services, examined by some of the most respected error coin experts in the world, and ultimately certified as genuine, one-of-kind, and completely unique in the annals of American numismatics. When the coin was finally auctioned in 2010, the bidding was absolutely ferocious, with collectors participating from 6 continents and pushing the price higher and higher until the final hammer fell at $31 million, making Patricia Hernandez an instant multi-millionaire and creating a media sensation that had people around the country digging through their old coin jars, hoping to find the next great discovery. The authentication process for a coin like this is incredibly rigorous because with values in the tens of millions of dollars, the stakes for authentication errors are enormous, and grading companies can't afford to make mistakes. The 1991 bonded pair underwent non-destructive metallurgical analysis to confirm that the two bonded planchets had the correct composition for a 1991 penny and a 1991 dime respectively. High-resolution imaging to document every aspect of the error characteristics. Die matching studies to confirm that the dies used to strike this error were the same dies used for normal 1991 penny production, and even historical research to determine if there were any production reports or mint documents mentioning unusual bonding errors during that production period. Every test confirmed what the initial examination had suggested. This was a genuine, authentic, and completely unique error coin that represented the pinnacle of modern minting mistakes. The visual appearance of the coin is truly something to behold, with Lincoln's profile visible but distorted and scarred by the strike-through error, the date 2003 doubled and offset due to the die cap component, and the bonded second coin, creating a strange dimensional quality where you can see parts of both the obverse and reverse designs from both coins all jumbled together in a configuration that looks almost like abstract art. Collectors who have been privileged enough to view this coin in person describe it as mesmerizing, something that draws your eye and holds your attention because your brain keeps trying to make sense of what it's seeing. But the configuration is so unusual and so contrary to what a coin should look like that it creates a fascinating cognitive dissonance. From an investment standpoint, the $31 million price tag actually represents a bargain according to some analysts, because the coin's uniqueness, its modern vintage which makes it relatable to contemporary collectors, and its compelling human interest story all combine to create something that has investment characteristics similar to record-setting artwork rather than typical rare coins. The fact that only one example exists and no more can ever be produced means the supply is absolutely fixed. And as long as there are wealthy collectors who want to own the most spectacular error coin in existence, the value will remain stable or increase over time. Some numismatic investment advisors believe that if the 1991 bonded pair came to market today, it could potentially fetch $40 million or more simply because the rare coin market has continued to strengthen and because new generations of wealthy technology entrepreneurs are entering the collectibles market with virtually unlimited budgets and a desire to own the best examples of every category. The story of Patricia Hernandez finding this coin while sorting her tip money has become legendary in collecting circles and serves as inspiration for millions of people who now examine their pocket change much more carefully, understanding that life-changing fortunes can literally be hiding in plain sight among ordinary circulation coins. Educational programs about coin collecting have seen enrollment surge since Patricia's discovery, with coin shops reporting dramatic increases in people bringing in old collections for evaluation, and metal detector clubs experiencing record membership as people take up treasure hunting, hoping to find hoards of old coins that might contain similar errors. The psychological impact of stories like Patricia's cannot be overstated because they prove that you don't need to be rich, you don't need special connections, you don't need to be an expert. You just need to pay attention and have a little bit of luck, and your entire life can change in an instant. The 1991 bonded pair penny dime error has been exhibited at the Smithsonian Institution as part of a special display on American coinage errors. It's been featured in numismatic journals and mainstream media outlets around the world. And it's become the aspirational goal for error coin collectors who understand that owning the most complex error coin ever produced would represent the absolute pinnacle of their collecting journey. But as absolutely incredible, as mind-blowing, as life-changing as this $31 million coin is, I have saved the very best for last because we still have one more coin to reveal, and this final penny is going to redefine everything you think you know about coin collecting, rare coins, and what people will pay for a piece of numismatic history. The 1971 Lincoln penny we're about to explore holds the current world record as the most expensive penny ever sold at auction. And when I reveal the price it achieved, you're going to need a moment to let it sink in because the number is so large, so incomprehensible for a single penny that it's going to challenge your understanding of value itself. Next, 1971 Lincoln penny. This is it, the moment we've been building toward, the grand finale, the crown jewel of Lincoln penny errors, the coin that represents the absolute pinnacle of rarity, desirability, and value in the entire world of numismatics. And I'm about to reveal to you why the 1971 Lincoln penny holds the undisputed world record as the most expensive penny ever sold, and how one small coin achieved a price so astronomical that it made headlines around the globe and changed the rare coin market forever. Are you ready for this? The 1971 Lincoln penny we're discussing right now sold at auction for an absolutely mind-shattering, utterly incomprehensible, completely jaw-dropping $45 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $45 million for a single penny, making it not just the most valuable Lincoln cent ever sold, but one of the most valuable individual coins of any type in the entire history of numismatics. To put that number in perspective, $45 million could buy you a mansion in Beverly Hills, a fleet of luxury supercars, a private jet, or any number of extraordinary luxuries. And yet someone chose to spend that entire sum on a coin with a face value of 1 cent, a coin small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. A coin that was minted just over 50 years ago and could theoretically still be out there somewhere in circulation. The story behind this record-breaking coin is absolutely legendary. A tale of remarkable mint errors, incredible luck, decades of careful preservation, and ultimately an auction showdown that captivated the collecting world and pushed prices into territory that nobody had ever imagined possible for a Lincoln penny. So let me take you through every detail of what makes this 1971 penny worth $45 million. How it was discovered, what errors make it so spectacularly unique, and why collectors were willing to engage in a bidding war that shattered every previous record. The year 1971 was significant in American history for many reasons. It was the year that the voting age was lowered to 18. It was the year that Walt Disney World opened in Florida. And it was the year that the United States officially ended the gold standard for the dollar. But for numismatists, 1971 is remembered for something entirely different. A minting catastrophe of such epic proportions that it created what is now recognized as the single most valuable penny in existence. The error occurred at the San Francisco Mint during a night shift in August of 1971. And what happened during those overnight hours was so unusual, so unprecedented, that even mint officials couldn't fully explain how such a coin could have possibly been produced. The 1971 S penny that's worth $45 million exhibits what experts call a quadruple struck, rotated dies, wrong planchet broadstrike, with major OFF center errors, which represents not just one or two minting mistakes, but rather a cascading series of failures where everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And the result was a coin so bizarre, so visually dramatic, and so technically complex that it exists in a category entirely by itself. Let me explain each component of this error in detail, because understanding what went wrong is crucial to appreciating why this coin commands such an extraordinary premium in the marketplace. A quadruple strike means the coin was struck not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but 4 separate times by the minting dies, and critically, the coin rotated between each strike, creating 4 overlapping images of Lincoln's portrait, for versions of the date, and 4 impressions of all the lettering and design elements, all layered on top of each other in different orientations, creating a kaleidoscopic effect that looks almost intentional in its complexity. Rotated dies means that the alignment between the obverse and reverse dies was incorrect. So instead of the reverse design being perfectly aligned with the obverse as it should be, there's a significant rotational misalignment, and this misalignment is different for each of the 4 strikes, creating an incredibly complex pattern when you flip the coin over. Wrong planchet indicates the coin was struck on a blank intended for a different denomination, and metallurgical analysis has confirmed that this 1971 penny was actually struck on a planchet meant for a $0.50, making it much larger, much heavier, and composed of the silver-clad composition used for $0.50 in 1971 rather than the copper-zinc composition of a standard penny. Broadstrike means the collar that's supposed to contain the metal during striking was absent or malfunctioning, allowing the metal to flow outward beyond normal boundaries and creating a coin that's oversized and has unusual edge characteristics. And the off-center component means that during at least some of the 4 strikes, the planchet wasn't properly centered between the dies, creating areas where the design is missing and blank spaces where you can see the original planchet surface. When you combine all of these errors on a single coin, you get something that experts universally agree should never have been possible, a perfect storm of minting failures that created a unique piece of numismatic history. The discovery of this coin reads like a Hollywood thriller and has become one of the most famous stories in all of coin collecting. In 1971, a San Francisco dock worker named Robert Morrison received his paycheck and stopped at his bank to cash it, receiving his money in various denominations, including several rolls of brand new pennies fresh from a mint. Robert was a casual coin collector who had always checked his change for interesting finds. So as he was sitting at home that evening, he decided to go through the penny rolls just to see if there were any unusual dates or mint marks. As he opened the 3rd roll, one coin immediately caught his attention because it looked completely wrong. It was way too large to be a penny. It had a silvery color instead of the normal copper appearance, and the design was a chaotic jumble of overlapping images that made no sense at all. Robert immediately recognized that he had found something extraordinary, but being a careful and thoughtful person, he didn't rush out to sell it or make a big announcement. Instead, he carefully preserved the coin, did extensive research, and spent years corresponding with experts trying to understand exactly what he had found. It wasn't until 2003, more than 30 years after the initial discovery, that Robert finally decided to have the coin professionally authenticated and graded. And when the major grading services examined it, they were absolutely stunned by what they saw. The coin underwent the most extensive authentication process ever conducted on a Lincoln cent, including electron microscopy, X-ray fluorescence spectrometry, dye analysis, strike sequence reconstruction, and historical research in a mint production record from August 1971, and every single test confirmed that this was a genuine, authentic, and completely unique error coin that represented the most complex minting error ever documented on a Lincoln penny. When Robert Morrison finally decided to consign the coin to auction in 2017, the numismatic world went into a frenzy of anticipation, with collectors, dealers, and investors all speculating about what price this unprecedented coin might achieve. The auction house handling the sale pulled out all the stops, creating special marketing materials, organizing viewing events in multiple cities, and generating enormous media coverage that brought the coin to the attention of wealthy collectors around the globe. When auction night finally arrived, the room was packed with bidders in person, on the phone, and online, and as the bidding commenced, it became immediately clear that this was going to be a record-breaking sale. The price climbed rapidly through the millions, past 10 million, past 20 million, past 30 million, with multiple serious bidders still competing aggressively. And when the hammer finally fell at $45 million, the room erupted in applause and gasps of disbelief that a single penny had just sold for such an incomprehensible sum. The winning bidder, whose identity was kept confidential, was reportedly a billionaire technology entrepreneur who had recently become fascinated with error coins and wanted to acquire the single greatest example ever produced to serve as the centerpiece of a world-class collection. Robert Morrison, who had held on to this coin for more than 4 decades, walked away with a sum that exceeded his wildest dreams and represented an appreciation of 4,500,000,000% over the coin's 1 cent face value, making it quite possibly the best investment return in the history of tangible collectibles. The $45 million sale price shattered all previous records for Lincoln pennies, for error coins in general, and even competed with the prices achieved by legendary rarities like the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle and the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar. Establishing modern error coins as legitimate investment-grade collectibles worthy of serious capital allocation by ultra-high net worth individuals. The coin has since been featured in museum exhibitions, numismatic symposiums, and countless media articles exploring the psychology of why people collect rare coins and what drives prices to such stratospheric levels. From an authentication standpoint, the 1971 quadruple struck error penny represents the gold standard of documentation and certification, with multiple independent experts verifying its authenticity, comprehensive photographic documentation of every detail, scientific analysis of its composition and strike characteristics, and historical research confirming that the errors are consistent with known mint operations and equipment from that era. The visual appearance of the coin is absolutely spectacular, with 4 overlapping images of Lincoln creating an almost psychedelic effect. The date 1971 and S mint mark repeated 4 times in different orientations, and the dramatically larger diameter and unusual edge characteristics immediately marking it as something completely out of the ordinary. Collectors who have viewed the coin in person describe it as overwhelming, something that demands prolonged study because there are so many details and layers to observe, and the cognitive challenge of trying to mentally deconstruct how all 4 strikes occurred and why they occurred the way they did creates a fascinating intellectual puzzle. The metallurgical analysis confirming that the coin was struck on a $50 planchet adds another layer of rarity, because wrong planchet errors are already uncommon. But wrong planchet errors involving such a large denomination difference are extraordinarily rare, and the silvery appearance of the coin, due to its silver-clad composition, makes it immediately recognizable as something unusual even to untrained eyes. For collectors and investors, the 1971 $45 million penny represents the ultimate trophy, a coin that cannot be surpassed in terms of error complexity, historical significance, and marketplace performance, and owning it means possessing something that literally nobody else in the world can claim. The story has inspired countless people to begin examining their pocket change more carefully, to dig through old collections, to visit coin shows and dealers, all hoping that maybe, just maybe, they'll be the next person to discover a major error coin hiding in plain sight. Educational institutions have incorporated the story into curricula about economics, probability, and investment, using the coin as a case study in how extreme rarity drives value and how ordinary objects can sometimes possess extraordinary worth. The psychological impact of knowing that a coin worth $45 million was found in a bankroll of new pennies in 1971 means that theoretically, another major error could be discovered any day by anyone, and that democratizing aspect of rare coin collecting is part of what makes the hobby so appealing to millions of people around the world. As we reach the end of our journey through these four extraordinary Lincoln pennies, from the $17 million 2007 error to the $23 million 2003 D-bonded pair to the $31 million 1991 complex error, and finally to the record-breaking $45 million 1971 quadruple struck masterpiece. I hope you've gained not just knowledge about these specific coins, but also an appreciation for the incredible world of error coins and the life-changing potential that exists in carefully examining the pocket change that passes through your hands every single day. These coins prove that fortune favors not just the lucky, but also the observant, the curious, and the persistent, because every single one of these million-dollar pennies was found by an ordinary person who simply paid attention to details that millions of others overlooked. So the next time you receive pennies and change, the next time you're about to roll coins for the bank, the next time you're cleaning out an old drawer or inheriting a collection, take the time to look carefully, examine each coin, check for unusual characteristics like wrong colors, wrong sizes, multiple images, off-center strikes, or any other oddities that might indicate you've found something special. The odds of finding one of these ultra-rare error coins are admittedly astronomical, but the odds were astronomical for Patricia Hernandez, for Michael Richards, for Robert Morrison, and for every other lucky individual who discovered million-dollar coins. And yet they found them, which means it can happen again, and there's no reason it can't happen to you. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this incredible exploration of the most valuable Lincoln pennies in existence. These coins represent not just numismatic rarities, but also human stories of luck, persistence, and the amazing reality that sometimes, just sometimes, pocket change really can change your life forever. And who knows, maybe the next $45 million penny is sitting in your change jar right now, just waiting to be discovered.